Have you ever felt that quiet nudge, maybe a whisper or a full-on shove that tells you it's time for something new? But fear, doubt, and just plain comfort keeps you stuck? Then, friend, this episode is going to feel like it was made for you. I'm Jodi Silverman, life coach, speaker, and host of this podcast, and your personal cheerleader for this daring chapter of life. Today, you're about to meet Tracy Davidson. Yes, that Tracy, the beloved news anchor from my backyard, Philadelphia. But this isn't a news segment. This is a story of reinvention, bravery, and choosing purpose over comfort. Tracy just made a bold move, one that involved walking away from a high profile career to pursue her calling as a full time resilience speaker. Together, we unpack how she overcame doubt and stepped into her what's next with clarity and courage. This conversation is packed with truth bombs, laughter, and tools to help you raise your own hand for something more. And if that voice in your head has been a little too harsh lately, you're not alone. I've got a free 7-day self talk cleanup challenge that'll help you start speaking to yourself with the same kindness you give everyone else. The link's waiting for you in the show notes when you're ready. But for now, settle in. Tracy's story might just be the permission slip you didn't know you needed. Hello, Tracy, and welcome to Dare On with Jodi. I am so excited for our audience today, especially for those of you tuning in from the Philadelphia area, because you might already recognize my guest, Tracy Davidson, from her decades in front of the camera, delivering the news to all of us in the Philadelphia area. But today you're going to get to know Tracy on a deeper, different level. You're going to hear the story behind the public voice, the personal journey of reinvention, resilience, and purpose. And I cannot wait for you to hear all about it. So, Tracy, welcome.
You're so kind, Jodi. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to talk about this.
Yeah, it's a big move. You had a big daring moment just a few months ago. So I'm gonna turn it over to you. Tell everybody what your daring moment was.
Well, I feel first I need to say thank you to the women in broadcast journalism who went before me, because 20 years ago, someone north of 60 would not have been offered an extension. A woman. I was offered an extension on my contract at NBC 10. Love my job as a journalist, love serving people with information. But I've always wanted to serve people more in person. And I've always wanted to talk to people about the skills of resilience and how to prevent burnout and how to reduce stress and how to be more intentional about how they spend their time and their lives. And so I thought, if I'm ever going to do that, now is the time to do that. And management was lovely. And they said, here, we love you. We love you to stay. Here's our offer. And I just thought, time to be brave.
Yeah.
I talked to middle school girls about growing their confidence and what does it take to grow confidence. What it takes to grow confidence is being brave and taking the chance and raising your hand. And it doesn't even matter if you get the question right. What matters is that you took the chance, that you raised your hand. And so since I made my brave move, I've said, this is me raising my hand. I am now a full-time resilience speaker.
I love that. I love that. And I met you actually for the first time attending an event that you and another guest on our show that was already a guest on our show, Jen Kronberger, you
Yes.
teamed up together and you put on a full day, you host actually a full day. I would say it's an empowerment and resilience conference called Lifting Your Voice.
It is. And I want to be very clear, because I don't want anybody to come thinking it is a networking event. Our next one is March 22nd. We hold them twice a year. And I say it's not a networking event because, of course, you're going to meet people. But it's really a holistic day for women to press pause and get back in touch with themselves and other women. I think that we all, and I know you run fast, and I
Yes.
think a lot of women run fast, and we we bang out the to-do list, right? But
Yes.
sometimes we get running so fast and the world is so loud that we forget to listen to ourselves. What is it that we want? How is it that we want to live? If even in our brain, what
Yeah.
are the thoughts that we want to have about ourselves, about our family and friends and the world? And so this is a day for women to press pause. Jen Kronberger and I talk about resilience skills
Yeah.
and confidence and priorities and saying no and putting yourself first and, the big self-care wheel.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of opportunity for people to do introspection, to talk with another woman.
Yeah.
I
It was a
believe,
powerful day. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I believe that everyone is in our DNA. We want to be connected. That is what and especially for women. But we don't take that's a part of the self-care wheel, right? We don't take care of ourselves in terms of I need some women connection time. And so what we find at this day is that while some people will come with their friends, other people will come alone. And that doesn't keep them from sharing their innermost struggles with the woman next to them, because that's what the day is about. It's about lifting one another up, realizing that we all have struggles and that we're all connected and we
So
can
true.
do better together.
So true. So true. And that's exactly what I walked away from that event, feeling
Hmm,
all of that.
so
And
good.
no, thank you. And we'll share information. So my question to you is going back to, so you were offered a renewal. I want to go back to the daring moment because
Yeah.
you said, even in the face of fear and doubt, raising your hand, if somebody's listening to this and they want to do something new, they want to make a move, they've only been a nurse, they've only been an attorney, or maybe they walked away from their career outside of the home to be 100% mom
Hmm.
and they don't even know what to do at this point. What do you like? What was it that gave you the courage to to not allow fear or the doubt stop you? Because you've had an amazing career
Hmm.
at the network and you know it. It's familiar. And like you said, it really is a testament to all the other women anchors and broadcasters before
Hmm.
you that north of 60, you were given this opportunity to continue on. So
Yeah.
what would you say to the woman who said, "Yeah, but I'm too scared. I'm scared I won't succeed," or "I know this, so I'm going to stay because it's comfortable."
Right. So there's two things I would say is number one, if you're saying to yourself, I'm stuck, you're lying to yourself.
Mm.
It's just that there's an option on the table that you don't want to look at or that you're not prepared to do. Right. The fear of what's the fear about? Fear of failure? Well, failure is just feedback. And you're right. Had I been doing broadcast journalism for 40 years? Yes. I've been doing public speaking for a long time too, but this is very specific, and it's to help people gain resilience skills, have real takeaways, how they can change their life. So, I could fail at this. The key is being comfortable with being uncomfortable. I used to have a leadership coach who called it temporary incompetence.
Oh,
And look, by the time that you're our age, much of what we do over the course of our day, whether it's making dinner, driving a car, logging on, we've done that a bazillion times, right? We're not used to doing things for the first time. We're not used to doing things that I might I might fail. I might not be able to hook up this a bank account and that or whatever it is, right? We're
right.
not used to that. And compare that to a college student. A college
Mhm.
student is going to have many failures every single day because they don't know how to do that project or that assignment.
Right.
And they're going to figure it out. We're not that used to it, but we have to reassure ourselves it is temporary incompetence.
I like that.
We will learn it. We have to be okay with being in that uncomfortable, I don't really know how to do that yet. I don't really know how to maximize my use of AI yet.
Yet.
The key word to tell yourself is, I don't know how to do it yet. And that's okay.
Yeah, that's a powerful, powerful word. I mean, just listen to that for a second for every that one woman leaning and listening right now. I don't know how to do it. Or I don't know how to do it yet.
Yes.
Yet gives you the gives you possibility and opportunity, and that's just enough to push you through that discomfort. And I love when you say getting comfortable being uncomfortable. I was at a conference many years ago, and there was a speaker on stage, and she was asking us to write down our business goal. What's a big business goal? The one big thing that if you achieved it at the end of the year, you'd be like, yes, that's my year was worth it. So we all wrote it down, and then she said, now I'm going to ask you a question that you need to ask yourself. How uncomfortable are you willing to get to achieve that goal? That question has never left me. I've put that question on my vision boards because it is uncomfortable, but we've done uncomfortable things our whole life, right, Tracy? I mean,
Yes. And we've failed before and we've succeeded before and we've taken
yeah,
on challenges before. And so,
yeah,
when you're talking about somebody who's sitting there saying, I want to make a change, but I'm unsure, well, just go for it. If you look back, you've done this before. That's the
yeah,
beauty of having been on this earth for a few decades.
yeah.
In some way, you've taken chances before. In some way, you've tripped and fallen before. And guess what? The world didn't stop revolving and you got back up and you did it better the next time.
Yes, we did. Look for the proof. Look for the proof. Remind yourself. We can get so stuck. Look back in college. We were those college students that knew nothing.
Right.
We didn't even know how to navigate our daily life, like how to even time
Right.
management, and look where we've come. And it's interesting. I sat with somebody a while ago, who's this was years ago, and we specifically were talking about women like us, women in midlife and beyond, who are looking to start a new career, re-enter the workplace, or just pivot. And I remember her advice. She said, we don't give ourselves enough credit for the skill sets that we have. We don't even think about it. Like if you're that work from home mom, the one who dedicated her life to raise her children, that's a job, by the way. It's not you hear these women, they say, well, I was just a mom. Oh no, you weren't just a mom. She said, write down your skill sets. How many class parties did you organize? That pasta
All of it.
fundraiser, the fundraiser. We were fundraisers, we were organizers, and we were carpool organizers. There's so many skill sets that if you can calm that fear and say, no, I'm not gonna let the fear stand in my way. You can be brave and look at everything that you've done.
And I think it's good if you can look at where does the fear come from? It's
Yeah,
fear of what? I mean,
right.
fill it in your brain and then be kind to yourself. We would never be as rough on other people,
Mhm.
especially our dear friends, as we are to ourselves. We're
Yeah,
like drill sergeants to ourselves.
I know.
Instead of being compassionate, saying, it's not yet. You can figure this out. You've done it before. You're right. Look for the proof.
Yeah.
You've done things like this before. Or guess what? Maybe you haven't. I interviewed a woman. She was an executive with Comcast. This was years and years ago for a Power Women event for Mainline Today. And she said, I intentionally took jobs that weren't directly in my line so that I could be more well rounded. And so she intentionally put, now that's brave because
That's
we're
very
talking about
daring. Yeah.
taking a job here and a job there or learning something new. She took a job in an area that it wasn't quite her cup of tea, but because she wanted to learn that area of the business.
Yeah. Wow, that is daring. And the other thing that we have going for us, is because at this age, and somebody I sat down with a while ago, Melissa Davies, she said this to me. She's from this area. She said, at 60 years old, she left corporate America to become a filmmaker. Yeah, never, didn't even have a hobby of photography. And she said, the beauty of our age, of midlife and beyond, is that we know what we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So we know, so ask for help. But I also love what you said about how we're so much kinder to all the people around us. We're the biggest cheerleaders for the people in our life. I think it's time to be a cheerleader for yourself.
True. And I know that many of us, and I do, and this is part of my emotional wellness, is write down our gratitudes every day.
Yeah.
I think you need to take time to do that for you. Be a cheerleader for yourself,
Yeah.
especially as I've been talking a lot to people, a couple of my coaching clients about making their intentions for the new year.
Mhm.
be kind to yourself and cheer on the wins, even if they're the baby wins. Because guess what? It's the micro changes that you make along the way that yield the big changes going forward.
Absolutely. It is. It is cliche, but slow and steady wins the race. Little steps is that peeling the
Mhm.
onion, all those cliches. But there's
Yeah,
a reason there's so many of them because they
it's
work.
true.
It is
Right.
very, very true. So, okay. So what about let's talk about resilience. Let's talk about what are your top three resilience strategies or practices that you share with women from the stage when you speak to them that they can start practicing now that can help them take that step even with the fear with them, because I'm also a big believer that fear doesn't really just go away. It will
You can
reappear.
manage it. Yes, but you
Yeah,
can manage it.
right.
Yeah, you can manage it. Well, first, one of the skills is, can you look at the world? How do you see the world? You have to acknowledge that first.
Right.
And people sometimes don't realize that they do have certain glasses on. And can you put your view of the world into a positive? I'm not saying Pollyanna.
Right.
I'm saying realistic optimism, right? All things being equal, I'm going to succeed. Can you see it like that? Can you see challenges like that? So part of this is very simply being able to choose, William James, father of psychology, choose one thought over another. I choose the thought, all things being equal, I will succeed. And so that's one thing that I really think.
Yeah.
The other thing I think of is take a minute before you respond to anything. Where's my response coming from? Is my response coming from, and there's lots of talk these days, I guess for a while now, about trauma and about triggers. But where's my response coming from? Is it coming because I'm insecure about this particular thing? Is it coming because I want this person to think this way about me, or that person pushed something that it has nothing to do with this project that's going on at work right now? What it has to do with was a project 10 years ago when I felt like somebody failed me, right? So hold on. So challenging how you're going to respond in
Yeah.
any given situation, that would be something to take away too.
I love that. I love those two. I love the choosing your thoughts because it's a practice. It's a practice and it's all about self-awareness. It's like you have to pay attention to what you're thinking and what you're saying to yourself. And I also find that one of the biggest fears people have when they want to reinvent themselves, I had one. I was a I was a direct mail marketing advertising sales executive. I sold print commercial services. And then I decided that I was going to go into network marketing and then be a public speaker. Like, who am I? Who am I to be a public speaker and a coach for moms about empty nest? Like, I can't, that imposter syndrome or a little bit of who am I to think I should stand on a stage and be a public speaker. And I have to share that. Go ahead. What were you going to
Yeah,
say?
how did you get over that then? I think everyone's always looking for how to get out of the imposter
Yeah.
syndrome cycle.
So for me, it was saying yes to going to events such as yours, lifting your voice. It was putting myself in rooms where other women and men were on stage sharing resilience tips, sharing mindset tips, sharing what I wanted to share with other people. And I kept it a big secret to myself. Like I would sit there and I would see if it was you on stage, I'd be like, I want to do that. I want to do that. And what I had to say to myself is, why do you want to do that, Jodi? Because my biggest thing was, well, who am I to want like a spotlight? Like people are going to think I'm like this conceited, self-absorbed person. And I said, but that's not why I want to do it. Yes, I'm an outgoing person. I'm not scared of the spotlight. I'm not scared of the microphone. And it wasn't because of that. It's when I said, well, why do you really want it? And I remember saying, because if I could get up on stage and I could say one thing that one woman in that room walked away thinking, oh, yes, that's me. She saw me. I'm not alone. Whatever it is for them, then that was meaningful, purposeful work. And once I was able to define why I wanted to do it, I was like, I want to be a speaker.
Right. And you identified there's a reason why there are so many books written about your why. What is your why?
Yes.
Because that that will keep that's your North Star.
Yes.
Right? That will keep you focused on the real reason that you're doing whatever it is or what that you want to do. And I think that sometimes we lose that. We forget that. We get running too fast and we forget what is our why about why we want to do anything. And for the record, mine is I am so rooted in service. And just like you said, if there's one person that you're able to give some information to that helps them make better decisions, that's what I built my whole TV career on,
Yeah.
was giving people consumer information to help them make better decisions. And now if I can give them information about resilience skills, what they are, how to build them, strategies, then I'm going to do
Yeah.
it.
No, I love that. And then no, thank you for that. And it is true. It's the why. It's always about the why. I do vision boarding and I say, well, don't do the resolution thing. Figure out what it is you want and then figure out why. Like, how's it going to make you feel if that happened or when that happened? But and yet the other fear that I have a question for you. What would you say to the woman who says, "Well, I'm scared. Forget the imposter syndrome, but I'm scared to tell the people close to me that I want to do this because they're going to think I'm crazy." Or they're gonna try and dissuade me.
Well, Jen Kronberger and I don't know if we included it in the event, the Lifting Your Voice event that you went to, because we do different topics every time. We always talk about who's in your front row
Hmm.
and did they pay to be there? Meaning, have they been there for you in life, in the good, the bad, the dirty, the awful? Are they your ride and die? Are they people who you trust, who get to be in the front row when you say, guys, I have decided that I want to do hang gliding, right? And and if they are, then you have to be confident that they are going to give you good feedback and they're going to be there to support you and your desires. Be careful who you put in your front row.
It's true. It's true. It's not always the people you think it would be. Not
Correct.
because they don't love you, but
No,
because they
and
have
not
their
because
own stuff.
that's right. And that doesn't mean that they're not great friends or they're great family members
Yeah.
or but they just don't make it to the front row.
Yeah.
So be
No, I
careful
like
who you
that.
put in the front row.
Who's in your front row and be careful who's in your front row. All right.
Yeah.
This was good stuff. This is good stuff. I love resilience talk because everybody can learn to be a little more daring, a little more brave. Everybody can learn to live with fear and move through it. It's just a matter of practicing and listening to wonderful speakers all about it, like you, Tracy. So I love that. I love that. All right. So there is a saying out there. I think it was Oprah that coined it. Live your best life. I'm living my best life. It's a really big, it's a big four words. Live your best life. We hear it a lot. We read it a lot. Are you living your best life? Live your best life. I want to know from you, like, what does that mean to you when you hear living your best life?
For me now, doing resilience speaking and having an impact, not for me but for them. I don't it doesn't, just as you said, you don't need to be up on a stage. I don't need to be up on a stage. What I want to do, what I feel I am called to do, is to help other people and to have a real impact in the choices that they make for their lives.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you. All right, now nobody gets out of here. Nobody gets off at Dare on with Jodi without a dare. We
Oh,
want to we want to leave our listeners a dare. What would you dare them to do this week, today, the next month, whichever?
I dare you for the next week to get out of bed in the morning and not pick up your phone for half an hour.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And I want to encourage you, if your mindset isn't better about the day ahead, as you look back on that week that you did that or tried to do that, if your mindset didn't improve, I want to hear from you. Reach out to me on social media. If it did improve, reach out to me on social media. Because I believe we sit there and we preach to these young people like, look what this is doing to your mind. And these young kids believe all this and this is real. We know that intellectually, but emotionally, we get caught up in it when we start to scroll, whether it's the news of the day, whether it's, oh, so and so went to Bali. What? Just don't. Get yourself settled with the day. Wake up, get yourself settled. Do, some breathing, do some meditation, do some prayer. Oh, I don't know. Talk to somebody in your family one on one and be fully present.
I love
See
that.
how that works.
I love that dare. Nobody's given that dare yet. So it's a great dare. So for the first 30 minutes of your day, from when you wake up, you open those eyes, do not touch your phone and let Tracy and let me know, let Tracy know for sure. How are you feeling as the week goes on? Do it for a week and just see what's 30 minutes of your day. We could do anything for 30 minutes, right?
Well, right. And you know what? The first day, it might be hard. Cut it down to 15. You might feel anxious. You might feel like, well, now what am I supposed to do if I can't scroll? Maybe just be with yourself. Feel the cup of coffee as you're pouring the coffee into it. Feel it warm up. Feel it warm up when you're drinking it.
Yeah.
Really look into the eyes of your family member and say good morning.
Yeah, I would say even look in the mirror and look at yourself and say good morning, right? I love
Amen.
that. Love that
Amen.
there. Tracy, thank you so much for sharing your words of wisdom and sharing your
Mm,
story of bravery and daring. And I know I'm with everybody in the Philadelphia area cheering you on. You're already
thank you.
successful and
Thank you.
you haven't even begun to even make the amount of impact that I know that you can make. And I'm grateful for you being on the show. Thank you so much. What if you raised your hand? What if you allowed yourself to dream a little bigger, take the next brave step, or just sit in the discomfort of, I don't know how to do this yet? If today's episode with Tracy Davidson lit a spark in you, then hear this. You don't have to figure it all out at once. You just have to start. Start by being kinder to yourself. Start by choosing thoughts that serve you. Start by daring to believe that your next chapter could be the best one yet. And if your inner voice needs a little cleaning up before you can hear your courage clearly, grab the free self-talk cleanup 7-day challenge in the show notes. It's simple, it's powerful, and it's exactly where I invite you to begin. Until next time, dare to raise your hand because your life, it's waiting for you. Dare on.